All right. Well, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I have so enjoyed my time here. It's hard to believe how quick it's coming to an end. This is next Sunday is my last Sunday in the sanctuary. I'll be joined next week by Reverend Juliet. So that's going to be a fun conversation. But it's been my privilege to serve as the minister in residence. And you're such a wonderful community, and I've so enjoyed your receptivity to my shamanism ideas and nature practices and things like that. And I'm just having such a good time. I look forward to coming back, and Maya and I have been talking about that. So, yeah, looking forward to it. And so wonderful to be joined, Reverend Rosemary, that's her home. Yeah, she's home now in North Carolina. And welcome Nicole and Anita, and Sharifa and Wilma and Marco, of course, Dr. Maya. And we've got a nice crowd here today too. Let's just go around and say your names, and I'll say them after because I don't know everybody's name in here, but Sandra, Kate, our camera lady today. There we go. Victoria, Catherine, Susan, Donna, welcome. Oops. Louise and Gloria, and don't forget yourself, and Kate. So welcome everybody, welcome. Last week I think I used this as my prop. Does this look familiar? The Russian dolls. And yeah, I was trying to use this as a descriptor of if this is our aura and our energy body and our emotional selves, our mental selves, our physical selves, our etheric selves. Inside is the smallest self is the physical form, right? And people take Kirlian photographs of our auras. Science is getting better and better every day at measuring these invisible parts of ourselves. So if this is our physical form and this is our symbolic of our energetic form, I want to take this one step farther because this still has a boundary around it, doesn't it? This still has a border around it. It kind of leads to the idea that we're all separate. And that's not the case, right? We know that we're not all separate. So who would like to be my volunteers? We'll have to do this here so everybody can see. Kate, I need two people to come up and hold this sheet here. Hello, Marjorie, welcome.
Right here.
They need to see it, so we'll do it right here behind the podium. Okay. And Catherine, if you want to come on this side. Yeah. So we're gonna. All right. And now for a magic trick. I'm gonna disappear out the back door, right? Okay, now, if this is imagine if this is us as separate beings, right? But we need a different concept. So I thought maybe this prop will help get the concept across that here is this being in this sheet here. There's in one of the very well-known unity texts by Emily Cady, it talks about, God is substance and all form is our expressions of God, right? So if you think of this as our God substance, this beautiful field here, and you think of form as just something that's kind of protruding out of being formed from the substance. Can y'all see that happen? Yeah. Right. Or here is, my daughter said that you could see my nose and my glasses if I do this. Right? I'm poking through, pushing through. Yeah. Pushing through. It's just, that's enough. That's just,
okay. That's very helpful though.
It's just a concept. Yeah. Just a visuals like, we're not these objects. We're not machines. We're not single. Yes, we have forms. Yes, we have bodies. But let's not forget that we're an expression of that substance that's all around us 360, 24/7. We're an expression of the energetic form. And in unity, there's an idea that there are three parts, right? As a useful way to think about this thing, there's the physical body, there's in our conscious mind, there's our subconscious and the world of spirit and energy, the world of heart, those things that we can become conscious of, but in our normal everyday life we're not, right? So our normal consciousness, our everyday consciousness in physical forms, the spiritual realm, and behind all of that is God as substance, the divine or great spirit, that goodness that wants to be expressed, and it does express through us all the time, that energy in which we live and move and have our being. So you got these three levels, which is a useful concept, because that middle level, which is of God and is us, it's part of the expression, is the world of spirit and feeling and our subconscious and our memories. And think of all the ways we have to access that middle layer. We have, I'll just share some of the modes that I know: energy healing, hypnosis, direct access to the subconscious, and maybe even the superconscious, right? Depending on what you're doing. Drumming, music, dance, singing, chant, name some more. There are some others.
Plants.
What was it?
The plants.
The plant medicine, yes.
Crystals.
Crystals, yes. Got some more. You can do it through reading, right? You can read and reflect, meditation. Oh, movement, yes.
Tai Chi, yoga.
Yeah, Tai Chi and yoga. Yes, walking, meditation.
Dancing.
Yes, thank you, Marco. Dancing, yes. What else do we have? Nicole, Wilma, Rosemary, want to chime in? What else do we have? Other ways of accessing this middle transition piece between the physical form and our God direct access to substance. There's this spiritual layer. What was that?
Deep self-inquiry.
Deep self-inquiry, yes.
The silence.
Prayer, that's right. Two big tools. Thank you. Rosemary?
The silence.
The silence, yes. Especially in affirmations, yes, beautiful. Now we're getting into unity tools in particular, right? Denials and affirmations. The power of mind, right? Our conscious mind, but there's also our subconscious mind. And these things, when we start to clear out things out of our subconscious mind and our memories and feelings, things that no longer serve us, we make more room for other things to come through. We also, as Dr. Maya said when we opened, we are modern day mystics. We affirm that and bring it into our consciousness when we light these candles. Well, what is mysticism? It's direct experience of God. It's not thinking about God, it's experiencing God. And in all these modes that we just talked about, I'm sure some of you have had some sort of experience that was like, oh, I feel that love. I feel that unity consciousness. I feel that peace permeating every cell in my body. You can access that in so many ways, right? But what's actually happening? Yeah, we're in our physical bodies, but we're accessing that spiritual realm, which is then accessing and through expression that God substance. The reason I bring this up is today when you were, or this week rather, when you were painting the foyer, right? To say it in the French way, not foyer. We had some great conversations. Marjorie was here, and Jordan from Church 21 was here, and we were just conversations. How do things work? What do we believe? And how do we think things are working? And how do we express those similarities and differences? And how we worship, right? And how we pray, and how we think things work, and what we think our role is, and all that kind of stuff. And we weren't trying to sell anything or agree or reach consensus. We were just sharing and listening. And I really appreciate that. But it really made me think. I was like, wow, I love this conversation because it invites me to be even clearer about what I believe here and the relationship between unity principles and ways of being that I have grown up with since the time that I can remember, as far back as I can remember. This is just how I grew up, living these principles. And some of you met my daughter who visited this weekend. She also grew up with these principles. I never called them unity. These are the 5 unity principles. These are the 12 unity power. I never said it like that, but she lives this way, and it works, right? It's a great tool set. So how does shamanism fit in there? And energy healing and hypnosis. These are all my tools, right? Hypnosis. How does all this fit in? I believe that this we have quite a play box of things available to us that are not just here in the physical world, that they're all part of this, that spiritual middle piece that helps translate and express God's love and goodness that is to be expressed through us by our free choice, right? And our way of living and our choice. This is just another realm. It doesn't all have to be physical yet, because God in substance is in all levels of manifestation. The most dense being this physical form we're in here, and the least dense being spirit, kind of like the most dense water is ice, and the least dense water is like steam and water vapor. It's all God. It's all God substance. So these things that I've had the privilege to share with you during my time here and for the rest of my time here and coming back are all more tools to play in this world of substance and God and expression and spirit. And some resonate with people and some don't. But we do not have to limit ourselves, unless we choose to just the physical stuff that science tells us is measurable and replicable, right? That's all good. And our understanding through science of physical phenomena is growing all the time, especially as instruments and models and theories evolve. We evolve in our understanding of this spirit as we get closer and closer to God's substance. So I just find it's only 12 pages long. It's available for free on truthunity.net. If you're not familiar with it or you'd like a refresher, take a look at Emily Cady's book. Oh gosh, what is the title? I have just these things here. Marco knows it. So does Rosemary. What is it? I'll give you the name later. The title just like flew right out of my head.
Lessons in
Emily
Truth.
Cady. Thank you. Lessons in Truth.
Yeah.
Lessons in Truth, Emily Cady. It's 100 years old, but it's so simple in its truth, and it's so brief in its expression, and it has a diagram on every page. You just get the picture right off the bat. But I wanted to make that link because it came to me that I want to be clear about what this link is. I take it for granted. I want to make sure I'm being clear about the relationship between these spiritual practices and unity and our physical life and how it all fits together. You know, in the way I live it, it's all integrated. And there's a lot of room, and it's very open-ended. In other people's practice, and I can see the point, it can be very distracting from the reason that we're here, right? If we're here to bring goodness forth in the world and express divine ideas, are we really doing that? Or are we just getting entangled and having fun with the glamour and the drama and the stories and the stuff of all of these traditions? Like, really, they didn't have yoga clothes and yoga mats when they started yoga traditions. They didn't have all this stuff, but they didn't have water bottles that had a lotus on them. You know, you don't need that. You just you just need the practice. A lot of this stuff is the world of stuff, and it's easy to get wrapped up in those things for good purposes, right? And having fun. But let's remember they're tools for higher and higher consciousness. They're tools for higher and higher bringing forth good into this physical world, because that's a great way to share it with others, is the physical. This is a great way to shake somebody's hand, not being in the sheet all the time. You got to have something coming forth to shake somebody's hand, give somebody a hug, right? Express things in physical form, in art and music and dance and all the things that we talked about. So anyway, thanks for letting me share that. We're continuing our journey in our wheel of consciousness, building our 4 directions. You don't see a painting back here yet, but you will before I leave, believe me. I got it all, it's all here. And then I'll tell you, I feel like Mozart, right? He said it was all in his head and then it just had to come out his fingers. It's coming, it's coming. But I wanted to take the time to drum a little bit. And since Juliet will be our speaker next week, we're going to finish off 2 directions today. We've already, first of all, for those who are just joining us for the first time, in indigenous traditions and in those that I've learned, you use a medicine wheel. a wheel of I call it a wheel of consciousness, so that as a tool to help ground yourself in this physical form, but also remind yourself and reconnect yourself to spiritual principles, ways of being, types of consciousness, and living things in this physical form that aren't just human, right? All the kingdoms. So that's really the wheel is just a wonderful tool for that reconnection process, that reminder process. And those have been in classes with me on Wednesday. We've been creating our own mesa, which is a portable altar. It could be a pocket mesa, or it could be something that you keep open on your altar. It could be a bundle that you carry with you and you charge up these sacred objects. And these sacred objects are things we choose to make sacred for ourselves as a tool for our remembering. Right? And they're of service to us, holding our love and our level of consciousness and the characteristics that we choose to and affirm and decree that they have, right? So it's all fun, it's all play, right? But it's tools for us. So we've done the East, and I'm through a sort of a guided meditation here. I'm going to drum, and I'll remind you what we've come up with for the East so far and the South. And then we'll move on and see what you get for the West and the North. Bring it back, and then I'll write it down. And that'll become our Unity Center of Montreal Wheel of Consciousness, our own medicine wheel. And when I'm here for my last, it'll be online, my last talk, we'll be doing the centerpiece of the wheel, which is our soul, which is in unity. Your set soul level is that middle level of spirit, where God, substance, and physical form meet. And that's the center of our wheel. Okay, let's see. Let me change the sound on here to make sure everyone can hear my drumming. All right. This is my medicine drum that has a swan painted on it by my good friend, a shaman, Christine Woe Fleischman. And this reflects my medicine name. There we go, thank you. This reflects my medicine name, which was given to me as Swan Crossing Water. And the swan, there's a lot of symbolism for the swan, but the swan is known for helping souls pass from one dimension to another. And you could think of the swan, the Cygnus constellation that's up in the Milky Way. So that's kind of a nice reference there. Water is usually representative of emotions. So the swan crossing water, that's my medicine name. Now, can you hear this? Okay, great. It's not too loud? All right, please close your eyes. Put aside anything that's in your hands. And let's have a few moments of a guided meditation today. Relax your body, signal relaxation with 3 deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And that says, body, relax for me now. And from this relaxed place, let's go into the silence by opening the door behind our hearts. Picture your attention, yourself walking through that door into the world of divine spirit, God. And now let's bring up and recall our first direction in our wheel of consciousness, the East. The East where the sun rises. The East representing spring. The East representing the will to live, the will to begin, the will to move, willpower. East, the St. Lawrence River. And now let's turn our attention attention to the south. South, the element of water. South, the life cycle of summer. The smell of lilacs. The Indian nation that's south of here, south of the river. The element of gold. And now let's turn our attention to the west, where the sun sets in blazes of glory here in Montreal, marking endings and new beginnings. The season of fall, the element of earth, and the consciousness of holding power. See what else comes to mind for you, for animals and plants and colors. And now turn your attention to the north, home of the element of air and wind, home of receiving power. The time of spirit and rebirth in our life cycles. The time of winter in the seasons. See what comes to you for animals and plants and colors, geology. And now turn your attention to yourself, the center of the circle. Your own soul, your own consciousness. The center from which all things emanate. The center which connects with God in the silence, connects with spirit. The center from which substance is expressed, God's substance is expressed, Christ's consciousness is expressed. The center from which you can sense and feel at home in every direction. And let's come back in this space and time together. And let's prepare to share some things that came up for the West and the North to complete our wheel of consciousness here. Welcome back. Open your eyes, wiggle your fingers and toes. I hope that felt good. We just took a little journey into that middle realm, right? That middle realm between our physical bodies and Great Spirit, God, however you want to think of that, the divine, the power that's greater than us, whatever we call it by any name. I hope some thoughts came to you because I have we've got the East here already defined from our very first talk. We have the South here from last week. And now in a lickety-split time, we're going to be doing the West and the North. So I see that Marco already has his hand up. Do you have something for the West there, Marco?
Well, I think for all the seasons, for all the directions, I felt like the drumming was our heartbeat. It's the first time
Ooh.
it's really nice.
Anyone else feel that too? I see Rosemary nodding. Yeah, Victoria felt it, the connection. Did you feel a connection with others
Yeah.
in the room and on Zoom? Ah, That's that loving substance that we're all here to feel, right? Our unity consciousness. That's the modern mystic right there. That's one of the characteristics of mystics. All right, who would like to offer up? Now, the element of west is earth, or, you know, you could be that stone, think of it as that element, as opposed to fire and water. Life, it's harvest time. East is the spring, south is the summer, west is harvest. In terms of being, it's kind of a holding power, a holding. Offer up a color.
The orange and the red. Yeah.
Oranges and red, like our window. Tree energy. Okay. Could it be my cape?
Yeah, tree of life.
What kind of animal?
Bear.
Ooh, a bear. Wow, that came through loud and strong. How about a mineral? What kind of stone? What, or gemstone, mineral, crystal? What? A ruby. Thank you. A ruby. Wilma, would you like to offer something?
Well, I was thinking about the rupee too. And that's what I have my bedroom.
All right, 2 for Ruby. Ruby it is. And so it is. Thank you. All right, what about geography? What's to the west here?
Well, Canada's the mountains in the west.
Which mountains? Do you
The
know?
Rockies.
The Rocky Mountains. Okay. Ooh,
Yeah.
that's going to be beautiful to paint. Rocky Mountains to the west. Oh, we got a great picture of the west. Let's just close our eyes and feel the west together as I read the words. The west, earth, harvest, holding power. The fall, orange and red. Bear, tree, ruby, and the Rocky Mountains. Yeah, that's a remembering, that's a reconnecting, right? See how see how it becomes a tool? So Wednesday, when we create our, charge up our object to represent the West, it can hold all of those qualities. It can remind us. Is it physically holding it? Well, some people say they can measure things like that. Maybe. Does it matter? Not really. It's you. It's a tool for your imagination. It's a tool for your remembering and reconnecting. It's a tool for your consciousness. I like to think that it holds those powers and that if I give it to other people, they can sense those powers, but it may or may not. You know, some people feel and some people don't. Doesn't matter. It's still a useful tool. Okay, ready for the north? All right. All right, the north. We're face north in your imagination. This is where the element of air is. This is where this is where you would talk to spirits of the wind. The time of life is maturity, spirit, and rebirth. All right, because we did spring, summer, fall, winter. The winter of life is quiet and sleeping, but it's also rebirthing and transmuting. It's a way of being that is receiving, right? Versus create meaning. You can create meaning out of this for yourself. So receiving, winter, what color comes to mind?
White.
White, pride. All right, what animal?
The wolf.
The,
Polar
the
bear,
bear, yes, the polar bear.
Birds.
which is polar bear. Maya, what was that?
I saw birds flying over. Birds. Bird.
Bird. Okay. Look,
Wolf.
we
Wolf.
have more than one, right? Wolf, polar bear, penguins, birds. I don't think those were penguins flying overhead. They're another kind of flying overhead. Okay, plants. Think of plants. What was that? Say it again. Evergreen. Oh, pine, you said. Okay, pines and
Yes.
evergreens. Okay.
Lichen.
What about minerals?
Lichen.
Did I hear that right? Lichen?
Mhm.
Oh, as a plant. I like that. Lichen. Hold on. Let me just add this up here. Okay, I need a mineral like a crystal.
Quartz.
Like, is this smoky quartz? Citrine? This is quartz. It goes with the white too. And last but not least, what is north of here in
The
geography?
Arctic.
What's north?
The Arctic.
The northern lights. Ooh. The aurora borealis. Beautiful.
North Pole.
Wilma, what did you say?
Well, that was Marco who said the
Yeah,
North Pole.
North Pole.
The North Pole. Ah, this is fantastic. All right, so close your eyes and let's soak this in. The north, face in the north in your imagination. Feel the air, feel the wind. Feel that time of winter. Feel that life cycle time of winter, connection to spirit and rebirth. Feel the beingness of receiving. See the color white and quartz minerals. See and smell the pine, the evergreens. Hear the wolf, the polar bear, the penguin, birds. Feel lichen and see the northern lights and the pull of the North Pole. Thank you all for contributing to these directions. I look forward to bringing them to life in some color. And that'll be my gift, one of my gifts that I'll leave here. It's a big painting of your own wheel. And we'll finish it together with the middle, right? But this gives us the circle and the outside and all this great energy and images and sensations. It's going to be good. All right, so just to recap, all these things that I'm sharing are just more expressions of the divine, my personal expressions of the divine. And you all have your own personal expressions of the divine that aren't necessarily here in physical form. Doesn't mean we can't sense them, doesn't mean we can't feel them, doesn't mean we can't hear them or see them. It just means they're not here yet, pushed out of that sheet in physical form. But they're still spirit, they're still part of divine substance, and we can express them in pre-physical form. They're still an energetic substance coming out. They're just not condensed all the way into ice cubes. They're still in that in-between stage. But they're all part of the divine realm. So I hope you find that helpful, and I look forward to Wednesday's class, which will be my last in-person class, where we'll finish our mesas. We'll get to talk about these concepts a little bit more. You'll leave with a completed mesa. I'm really excited about that. And we'll also on Wednesday do a despacho, which is a blessing packet in the Peruvian Quechua tradition. And we will be burying it in the backyard here for a slow release with the element of earth, like composting our beautiful love, blessing energy from the packet into the earth of the beautiful building here, blessing the spirit of the building and all those who use it and gather here and have gathered here. The whole lineage will be honoring. So looking forward to that. All right. Thank you all for participating in that one. Let's go on with our service now. Let's do our offering and blessing. This is the time when we can take our physical form of energetic value in the form of money offerings, love offerings, and let's hold them in our heart, hold them to our heart together, and let's say our blessing for our offerings. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I joyously give, and all that I joyously receive. We are grateful. Thank you. Thank you. And there is a bronze dish at the back for your offerings. All right, and let's welcome some newcomers. And I'm not sure if you're both new or for the first time, or if you've been here before. You've been here before? Can you tell me your name one more time? Donna. Thank you for being here. Nice to see you. Yes. Yeah. And what was her name? She's Louise. Okay, good. Louise is here, but she's been here before too. So glad to get to see her before it's the last Sunday. So any newcomers online? Is Paulina a newcomer? No, she's been here before too. Okay, welcome, Pauline. Okay, well, we welcome all newcomers. Invite your friends to come. All right, it's going to be a very interesting talk next week with Reverend Juliet. Okay, announcements. I talked about Wednesday as my last in-person class. And Maya, would you like to share some announcements?
No, I think it'd be best to come from you about our new project. But I also wondered if you want to say something about Juliet, just a line or two. Reverend Juliet is, and her spiritual church is meeting in our sanctuary every Sunday afternoon and has done so over several years. And every time I invite somebody like Chris to come to her meeting, to her service, we're always deeply touched by the sincerity and the power of her presence. So Chris has invited her to come and talk to us. Now, I'm going to let Chris say something about what she is all about.
Okay, happy to. I had the pleasure of being in her service twice so far. It's for Sundays from 2 to 4. How many of you have been to her service before? Okay. Yeah, so she's a channeler. She's a medium, and she gives a great talk, and then everyone in the congregation that's attending is gifted with a message from Spirit. And she does it, and also her associates do it. Again, it's another form of that middle realm, physical, spiritual, or soul, right? And then divine, or you can put them any way you want, sideways, up and down, doesn't matter. So it's just another form, right? Shamanism, yoga, medium, channeling. It's just another access point. But her messages and the feel of what she does is so loving. And that's what really drew me to go a second time, and maybe even today. And then I was invited to have dinner with Juliet and 4 of her associates, I'll say, right? And it was so much fun. I got some really interesting insights, what it's like to live with that ability, how to learn it, how to craft it, how to go deeper into it. It's just like any other modality. You might have an openness for it or a kind of a natural ability, but at least the 2 people that were really sharing their experience, they went to school for it. They crafted it. It wasn't just, oh yeah, I'm good, boop, boop. It was like, no, they learned techniques, they learned ways to present it, they learned ways to tune in. And it was amazing. Anyway, I look forward to hearing what she'll share with us next Sunday. And then in terms of our program, Maya and I are talking about ways that we can offer some sort of more formal, maybe it's not quite the right word, but more regular, in-depth shamanic training. And so she's invited me to think about that, and I know some of you have asked me about it already, so that would be kind of a program we could do on Zoom and also when I return as a minister in residence. And we'll be coordinating that with Rosemary, who's offering the C classes, the SEE, Spiritual Education and Enrichment, which are those licensed Unity classes that she's doing right now and will continue to be doing. So the 3 of us are in conversation so that we don't have too full a schedule, because there's only so many hours in the week, right? that you're free to do this kind of stuff. but there seems to be a lot of interest in it, so we're figuring out how to organize it in a way that you can all take advantage of it. So I
Thank
think
you.
that's it for our announcements. Yeah.
It's
It's wonderful.
exciting.
Yeah, thank you. Alrighty, let's do our prayer of protection. Then we're gonna do our peace song. And then Sandra is gonna gift us with a reading of the La Pensée du Jour in French. Did I say that right? Yes. Okay, yes, I did, yes, excellent. Okay, prayer of protection, it's on your handout, so please join. Are you ready? All right. The light of God surrounds us. Love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The
And the
presence of God watches over us.
where
Wherever we are, God is, and all is